The Toyota Celica's rallying journey began in the 1970s with the early rear-wheel drive Celicas. While they lacked the power and sophistication of European rivals, they gained a reputation for strength and reliability. By the early 1980s, the Celica had become a regular sight in long-distance endurance rallies, especially in Africa, where durability often counted as much as outright speed. These campaigns laid the groundwork for Toyota Team Europe's later success, building the experience and infrastructure needed to take on the world's best. That crucial step forward came in 1983 with the Celica twin-cam turbo, the TA64. Built by Toyota Team Europe in Cologne for Group B, it was rear-wheel drive and fitted with a turbocharged engine, producing over 300 horsepower. On the tight European stages, it struggled against the four-wheel drive revolution, but in Africa, it came into its own. With Group B cancelled, Toyota turned to the new Group A regulations. In 1988, the Celica GT4 ST165 arrived, the first Celica with permanent four-wheel drive and a new turbocharged engine. In Britain, Di Llewellyn made immediate history, winning back-to-back British Rally Championship titles in 1989 and 1990 for Toyota Team GB, including a number of high-profile rally wins in the process.
Of course, with the ban in a Group B, we had to go back to Group A, which was a bit of a shock because obviously it was basically half the power. So then when it came to the Toyota, of course, that was 3 years into Group A, and the cars, she was turbocharged, four-wheel drive, and you were able to alter the settings on the four-wheel drive for the balance and the drive from front to rear. And again, you could use the handbrake again, which was marvellous. And so we were moving, not back to Group B because it was totally different, but the power was going up. The car was getting, you could, power slide it in the forest with bit more power, turbocharge. And of course, we had a couple of great seasons in it and very fond memories. My first Welsh international win in the car, obviously, which I'd been trying to do for many years with a few little mishaps. It was a great combination of the team, car and co-driver.
On the world stage, the ST165s were equally doing the business in various championships. But it would be 1990 in the hands of Carlos Sainz when things really started to take off for the Toyota team. Second place on the season-opening Monte Carlo rally would demonstrate the Celica's pace on the Alpine roads. An unfortunate mechanical retirement in Portugal would be redeemed with a fourth-place finish on the infamous Safari rally, before the Celica spent the remainder of the season occupying the podium positions. Victory on the Lombard RAC rally at the end of that season would carry Sainz to his first WRC title, as well as giving Toyota their first driver's title too. In 1992, Toyota switched to the Celica ST185, faster, stronger and destined for greatness. Over the next 3 years, it delivered as many drivers' championships, Carlos Sainz claiming his second title at the wheel of a Toyota in 1992, while Juha Kankkunen would use the Celica to take his fourth World Championship title in 1993, also bagging the manufacturer's title for Toyota that season as well. The car's now sporting the new and probably most memorable Castrol colours.
185. I drove so many different Celicas, but 185 was the best one to drive. Let's say that I really enjoyed to drive it a lot, especially on the big road. It was really nice car to drive. 93-4, it was for sure the best and the fastest car on the road.
1994 would see Didier Auriol completing the 3-year dominance of the ST185 Celica, winning his first and only WRC championship title, as well as claiming yet another manufacturer's title for the team, cementing the ST185 as one of the most successful rally cars of its era.
Well, back in the day, I joined the team and it was one of the biggest teams out there, and the amount of work and effort that goes into developing these cars is incredible. But my first ever job was to do all the development of the 185 Carlos Sainz edition for Safari Rally. So we spent 4 months in Kenya, and literally we didn't have one problem. It just kept going. And my love affair with the car went from there, and winning my first World Championship rally in 92, 93 Argentina with Juha, then following on with Argentina, but then ending the year with a victory in Rally GB is why I've got a 185. It was just such a wonderful car, and it was a pleasure to co-drive in one.
Towards the end of the 1994 season, Toyota unveiled the ST205 in readiness for their 1995 campaign. With advanced aerodynamics, water-sprayed intercooler and refined suspension, it was the most technologically advanced Celica yet. Unfortunately, it would be a little too advanced for the regulations. An ingenious but illegal turbo restrictor system was found on the car. Under inspection by the FIA, the restrictor would measure correct and appear to be legal, but it was fitted with a spring-loaded plate, meaning that boost pressure from the turbo would open it up even further, bypassing the regulated restriction and giving them more power. As a result, Toyota was excluded from the championship and banned until 1997. Even so, the ST205 found success in Europe's national championships in the hands of privateer teams. Belgian star Freddie Loix scored a number of podium positions and a couple of outright victories while driving the car for Toyota Team Belgium.
That was a fantastic car. The first time I took that car, it was a little bit strange because it was a low car, and the view was not so fantastic. But once you start to drive with it, it was an incredible, good balanced car and a good torque, fantastic transmission with the X-Track transmission. And I think from the first moment I drove the car, I finished second in the rally in Belgium. It was also my first experience with the 4x4 Group A car, so coming from the Opel Astra. And then the second rally was Portugal, finished again second in the Portugal rally. And from that moment on, we started to win nearly every rally we did with it in Belgium, and also a few times on the podium in the WRC, the World Championship rallies.
Over the years, the Celica's rally legacy has been shaped by some of the sport's greatest names. And its story is far from over, with drivers like Jari-Matti Latvala continuing to keep the Celica's spirit alive in historic events. And it isn't just making up the numbers there either, with the Toyota World Rally Team Principal recently becoming the 2025 European Historic Rally Champion.
Juha Kankkunen won the title in 1993, and I was a fan of Juha. And that's like what I have wanted to do, is I wanted to be a Juha Kankkunen driving this car in the European Historic Championship. But the funny thing is, Juha wanted to be team principal as a Toyota Gazoo Racing, so we swapped roles. Yeah. And the way with Juha was driving, it was so fascinating. But at the same time, I have to say that even Juha said it was one of the best cars what he has driving on his carry, because of the weight balance, the way the car was able to how it was handled. If I compare this to modern cars, it's an easy car to ride. The only thing is that you don't have the same suspension travel as the modern car. If you would have the suspension travel, actually it wouldn't be so far away from the modern cars.
From its humble beginning, the championship glories and the drama, the Toyota Celica remains one of rallying's true icons, a car that won everywhere on every surface, and it earned its place in motorsport history.